better than ever. And I know right now that I'm going somewhere and I need some cheddar. Oh, baby, better.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Andre Luck here with my next episode of the Sports Sales Show. I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to do an overview of the first quarter and kind of give a state of AI as relates to sports sales and where I see teams are at, where I see teams can improve, and everything in the middle. So we're into Q2 now. So over the past three and a half months, got a chance to work with a lot of different teams. So Fort Lauderdale United, USL team, and a lot of other properties underneath that holding company. Tons of opportunities there, and a lot of things that we're looking to build as it relates to AI and processes and systems. But work with teams in the NHL, NBA, minor league baseball, Major League Baseball, NWSL. Actually, recently a WNBA team too. So there's definitely a lot of similarities because at the end of the day, it's still sports sales, but you could also see where some of the leagues are maybe just starting to move ahead a little bit further than others, and I'll talk through what that looks like. So this episode should be pretty quick. Just, hey, here's a state of where teams are as it relates to AI and a couple quick plays that you can do at each stage of the sales cycle. So what I've noticed so far, NBA, as I've always seen throughout my career, is kind of a first mover. They have teams that have not only adopted AI and got like a enterprise platform across their team, so like a Chat GPT, or maybe outsource their own, or even starting to build their own AI internally. But they have an AI person. They're putting resources towards it. So on the sales side and across the organization, they're starting to build out some of their best practices, policies, and everything like that. And really an arms race, you could say, to who's going to be the leader as it relates to AI. I'd say closely behind, you got teams like the NHL, the Major League Baseball. I haven't personally worked with any teams in the NFL, but I know they're in those conversations as well. So they're definitely either starting to build out their own systems internally, or at least start to look at a platform that they could use from an AI perspective. And then some of the smaller leagues like NWSL, WNBA, minor league baseball, everything like that. Um, Fortunately, they're open to it. Budget constraint is obviously a big issue, but then also just the internal knowledge and know-how and the resources to deploy accordingly. So they're looking for others that have done well, whether it's in the league or outside consultants like myself, to come in and just help give best practices so their team can start getting used to it. And I think as they get more acclimated to it and they start to see returns and results, they'll start to put more resources towards it. A lot of the leaders are excited about it, and they're really pushing, because minor league sports sometimes could be, this is how we've always done it. So a lot of the leaders, at least the ones I work with, are really nudging and pushing like their general managers and those up above them to start to take a look at this. And sometimes, they have staffs that maybe are a little stuck in their ways too. So they're really trying to push them out of their comfort zone to take a step forward. And I think this is a perfect match and a perfect tool for teams that are resource constrained, because now you can get more done, be more effective, generate and drive revenue, and find ways to automate aside from just like automating emails like a lot of teams do with like a Wolfcycle or Conversica, but actually using processes and systems to help them make smarter business decisions, but then also improve some of their processes and work more efficiently. So that's kind of what I've seen across the different leagues. No matter what league that you're in, the top teams, like the top, 1, 2%, like I said, they got agents built. They aren't manually prompting. They're starting to implement a workflow and like a structure and a process for all their salespeople to follow. Kind of that middle tier, they're open to people using the platform. They're encouraging them to use it. They're even doing a little bit of training around it. And then the bottom, they don't really have any structure, don't have a game plan. And maybe there's like one or two people that are using it, but they're just kind of using it on their own. It's not really encouraged. So those are the different levels and the tiers that they're at. And I see, that top tier continue to just stretch and push themselves and really be like the model to follow that a lot of teams I think are very quickly going to try and replicate, or at least start to put resources and go to them as kind of best practices. Because in sports, the good thing is, we like to share best practices across leagues, and a lot of people move from one team to another team. So they're taking things that they learned. But there's those few teams and a couple that I can call out just personally, like the Hawks, the Trailblazers, one I worked with, the Spurs I know have done a lot, the Cavs, Madison Square Garden. Like there's a couple teams that really stand out as relates to setting the stage for what it's going to look like across the league, and really, being that staple as relates to AI best practices and best use cases. So long way to go. There's this thing's changing like every week of like new things that you can add, new things that you could do, and but it's encouraging that more and more leads are starting to dive into it. Where I felt a year ago around this time there was a lot of hesitancy or resistance, or just not even like putting forth the effort to try and learn some of these tools. And I think a lot of people are starting to do that now. So like I said, this will be a quick episode. I'm going to hit on a quick play that teams could use, or I've seen people use that be successful at each stage of the sales process. So at the top of the funnel, where you're looking to bring new leads in and find the right people to target from a B2B perspective, one thing that you could do is upload your client list and just put list of businesses and ask AI to pull out the similarities between them. Like what are the trends that they notice? Is it a certain type of industry? Is it a certain type of sales motion? Is it the size of the company? Is it like a local headquarters versus larger headquarters? And you can really hone in and identify what your ICP, your ideal customer profile is. So that then targets and helps you find other leads like that. And AI could help you do that too, of finding the right type of leads. Because a lot of times right now, it's like, hey, Google construction companies in a certain area or HVAC companies, but what's the sub industry and what are the firmographics about that, or trends or similarities that are the reason you should be reaching out to that company versus another one. And so now you're just honing in and being more specific, more detailed, and AI will tell you why they're a good fit. So now you could use that in your outreach. So top of funnel, taking your lead list, dumping that into AI. Hey, tell me what the similarities are so I can find other companies that are the best fit that we work with. Middle of the funnel. So you're in the sales process, you've got the meetings, you've gone on a few meetings, maybe deals are stalled or you're trying to get momentum or create momentum. What you could do is upload your transcripts, not just from one deal, but multiple deals. You could upload the lost reasons of reasons that deals closed. And again, ask AI to pull out like what are some things that stand out to there. Are there certain things that I'm saying in my call transcripts? Are there certain CRM note trends that it picks up? Are there certain reasons that we're losing deals? And then you could take that and turn that into a coaching opportunity. Well, twofold. You could turn that into a coaching opportunity for future deals, or you could say, hey, if I had to go back to some of these deals, what are some things I could do to create momentum or uninstall the deal or whatever it may be? So there's a lot of different things you could do there as relates to middle of the funnel and taking some of the data and insights that you've already gathered and using that to inform best next steps and help coach you kind of through the process. At the bottom of the funnel, so looking at close deals, a lot of people started like standardizing like their proposals, templates, things like that. So you just input a couple few key data points, and then it builds the structure out for you, or actually even builds out the proposal for you. Because in sports, there's only like 3 or 4 products that we really sell. It's season tickets, it's groups, it's like some sort of premium option, maybe like a partnership, and there's intricacies to it. Like there's certain locations and number of seats, but like really there's only a few products that we sell. But so one, it allows you to really standardize and templatize it, but it feels customized because you're taking things that you learn from the customer, but then also key objectives and outcomes that they're looking to achieve. So that's one way that you can use it to standardize your process. Another way, bottom of the funnel, you could upload all of your one deals. So take all the CRM data to identify like who are the best fit customers, what do they buy, who buys quickest. So when it comes to sales velocity, like how quickly and how much companies are spending, like that increases the sales velocity. So um, here are the people that give us the biggest return and close the quickest, and here are the reasons that they do. You have to have a decent amount of data to calculate that. It can't be like 2 or 3 deals, but let's say you have 100 that you have across your sales team, and see if they're, you need to have good data in your CRM. So you need to know when a deal started, how long it took to close, what it closed for, all those different things. And it can start to take that data and make some assumptions on, hey, here's the best fit customer, and here's the ones that spend the most and buy quickly that you can go target more. Or when you pitch this product, you close it quicker than if you pitch that product. So a couple of things you can look at there. And then finally, after you've got someone on board, a quick play that you could run that I've seen people have success with is tracking their outcomes. So whether it's you give the client a sheet, where I've seen a couple of teams kind of pilot this, and some of the top reps pilot it, is they take their like maybe like their top 5 to 10 clients. They build out a spreadsheet of all the matches or all the games that they have, and every couple weeks they'll check in like, hey, you had a game on February 5th, you had a game on March 18th, whatever it may be. Who used the tickets? What was the outcome? Any successes that we want to call out? So now they have this running log of really tracking and measuring how things went. You could dump that into AI and it could give you kind of this executive brief, this summary of, hey, here are some of the outcomes, wins, losses, opportunities, kind of do a SWOT analysis that you can then deliver to your client ahead of renewals or maybe like midway through this year. Like no one's doing that. So the fact that you're going to sit down and talk to and really put yourself in position yourself as a partner with them of here's where we're looking to go with this relationship, how to make sure you get the most value out of your tickets. And I'm willing to call out the things that didn't go well and the things that went well. That just helps when it comes to renewal time. You get that email, they're like, hey, we decided not to do it, or they opt out of their auto renewal, or whatever it may be. Getting out in front of some of those objections that we always get and using AI to help you with that. So we can obviously look at data. There's usage data and things like that that hopefully your analytics team could deliver to you, but you can get out in front of like what are actual measurable wins and outcomes and things like that. It also eliminates recency bias because maybe they haven't used the tickets as much over like when it comes to renewal time, but you can show over the course of 3 months, 6 months, whatever the time frame of the season is, here's all the wins and successes, and just put that in front of them. So good use case at the once you have a client on board and just through the sales process, and holds us both accountable, them and us, to make sure that they achieve the success that we're talking about. So a couple quick plays at each stage of the sales process. So every episode I like to give a shout out. One I want to call out: last week I was in Atlanta working with the Atlanta Dream. Ton of excitement coming into when I was getting there because they had just signed or traded for Angel Reese. And there was a lot of excitement around the team around that. And so the city was, excited. A lot of their fans were excited. And so what we really talked about was obviously capitalize on what's in front of you. But once this kind of rush evaporates, there's these expectations now. And I talked about when I was with the Astros, we won the World Series. On the other side of that, which, a lot of us, some of us were prepared because we had talked through it, but some of the staff wasn't prepared for, is like the expectations that then come with it. Goals go up, expectations go up. You're making sales quicker, but your goal just got doubled. So you have to make more sales and everything like that for higher dollar amounts. So it's like, all right, if we capitalize on this market that's excited in the fan, how do we go find other people? So it was a really good conversation. Excited to continue to work with that staff as they grow and see how they have success this year. So shout out to them. Also just the culture and the environment within the office was really cool. They had speakers all around the office. They're playing different hip hop music. So I couldn't tell you last time I heard Lil Wayne and Young Jeezy as I was walking around the sales office. But no, everyone seemed very supportive, very collaborative, very excited about the vision and direction they're going, and their executives, very awesome. And the Southern hospitality was great. So enjoyed the time there. Something that stood out to me. So I've talked to a few teams as it relates to like their AI use case, and like it is moving quick. Like, so there were some things that I showed them of like, hey, here's some things you could do with AI. And they're like, yeah, we've already done that. We're actually at this stage. So I was surprised that like a lot of people are further. They want to build, their IT teams looking at building like their own internal systems and processes, and like how do we do this ourselves and make sure that it's standardized and customized us versus doing like some generic enterprise solution. So where there is still a lot of laggards, I'd say. There are some people who are really pushing and moving the needle of like where they're looking to go as relates to using AI and having the staff, and not just the sales team, but across the entire organization, and making sure they deploy resources so they can do it right, because they all see the opportunity. And a lot of that's coming from the executives, the ones that are doing it. It can't just be a rep or a manager or a couple managers. Like there has to be an investment from the top, because they're going to hire the people, put the budget towards it. Everything that I've talked about over the past couple of years of doing the show, like if you don't have support from the top to deploy the resources, a lot of the initiatives you want to run, whether it is AI or just a certain sales motion or technology you want to invest in, if it's not coming from the top, you're not going to get the support and the buy-in. So that was something that stood out to me, is like I was surprised at how quickly and how advanced some teams were, which is kind of like the theme of this episode, compared to maybe where they were 3, 6, 9 months ago, where I felt a lot were not really moving, and like it's moved very quickly over the past couple of months. So it's awesome to see. So yeah, in closing, a lot of teams are gaining momentum. There's some that are maybe still in the bottom tier, but even then they're open and starting to see that, all right, we need to move forward on this. So I think 2026 and the rest of 26 and then 27 is going to be a big year for teams, and really analyzing, all right, what of our process stay the same? What do we change? What do we evolve? And how do we work in this new environment and reality of what is AI? And like, what does that mean differently for us? And as I get those lessons and talk to teams and, some of my peers across the industry, I'll be sure to bring this to you all and share this, every week as I do this episode or as I do this show. But if this is valuable, or if you enjoyed it, hit like on the video, share this with someone in your network, subscribe so you can get updated on videos. My daughter Bella, I talk about her almost every episode now. She was in here before. She's like, do you even have subscribers? I'm like, we've had this conversation. I told her the number. She's like, oh wow, like that's more than I thought you had. So slowly starting to get up there. But like I tell my daughters every morning when I drop them off at school, go be awesome today, and I'll be back next week with another video.
That's nothing. I'ma be doing this and I'm gonna be head hunting. Oh baby, don't know. Oh baby, don't go. Oh baby, don't know. Oh baby, don't go.